Hey, beautiful souls. How you doing? It's Jeannie here on a beautiful Toronto evening. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about luck. People are always telling me how lucky I am. And on the one hand, it kind of ticks me off because I think it discredits all of the work and intention I put into my life. And on the other hand, I think, yeah, they're probably right. I'm pretty lucky. I live a pretty awesome life. I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years doing what I love. I have a wonderful, loving, and supportive family, and I have a global tribe of soul brothers and sisters who are authentic and genuine and keep me really grounded and inspired. Beyond that, opportunities come my way all the time. I meet the right people at the right time in the right place. And when things are pretty crappy, they tend to turn around pretty quickly in my life. So yeah, I'd say I'm pretty lucky. But here's the thing about luck for me. I think luck is cultivated. And what I want to do in this video is give you some tips on how you can get a little luckier in your life. But I want to begin with a really quick story. When I was pregnant with my son, I was actually climbing these little mountains in northern Greece, close to Mount Olympus, with my uncle who was a shepherd and he was herding his sheep. And we were walking through the hills and it was all clover on the ground. And I asked him about the chances of finding a four-leaf clover. And what he said to me was he had been climbing those mountains for over 50 years and he didn't think such a thing existed. So what I did is I rubbed my pregnant belly for good luck, and I reached down and I ran my hand along the clover. And when it felt just about right, I grabbed a handful and I opened my hand, and sure enough, one of those clovers had 4 leaves on it. And I have witnesses. I actually took that 4-leaf clover and I pressed it into a journal that I had been writing for my baby who was on his way. And I have put that away under lock and key, and I'm going to share it with my son when he turns 18. So I'll have proof in about 4 years to attach to this video. But what I want to say about luck is that Brian Tracy, who's one of the most renowned gurus in the world of self-development, has said that luck is actually pretty predictable. That actually contradicts the meaning of the word luck, because luck is like spontaneous and it's random, and by its very notion it's unfair. Some people are lucky and some people aren't. How many of you know someone who is perpetually lucky? They seem to win free things all the time, or get what they want all the time, or get the parking spot, or just random wonderful things happen to them. Are you one of those people, or are you one of the people who never ever win, who always get the short end of the stick? So I want to talk to you because I want to give you a couple of tips. The journalist in me was really curious about this, and so I did a little research, and what I found was a book called The Luck Factor by Professor Wiseman. And what they did is they studied hundreds of very, very lucky and unlucky people. And what they found is that the lucky people do things consistently to cultivate luck. So in this video, I want to give you some tips that you can try to cultivate more luck in your life. So tip number 1, lucky people actually maximize opportunities. So what they do is they're really good at creating, noticing, and acting on opportunities. They're open to new experiences, to taking risks, and to meeting new people and networks. A perfect example of this is about a month or 2 ago, hi kids, I entered a speaking competition, and it was really random. It came across my news feed, and for some reason, something in me said, yes, do this. And it wasn't the winning of that competition necessarily, but what it did for me was expose me to some phenomenal life-changing people. It also opened so many doors for me. I'm getting t-shirts made from that speech. I mean, it's just so many wonderful things happened because this random opportunity came along. I checked in, it felt right, and I said yes. So that's one tip for lucky people. The second thing is lucky people tend to follow their gut instinct. I don't care what you call it, your intuition or divine guidance, but lucky people tend to follow that little nudge, that voice, that knowing. And the way that they do that is they do something very specific. They carve out time in their day, whether it's meditating or you just want to call it quiet reflection. But what they do is they make sure that they carve out time so they can get really centered in their energy and get really clear with how a decision feels. And then they follow their gut. So that's tip number 2, is lucky people tend to follow their gut all the time. Tip number 3 is lucky people just expect good things to happen to them. And I know that sounds really Pollyannish and maybe a little bit, unicorns farting rainbows, but the truth is that those expectations become prophecy. I used to play this game when my kids were really little and I was driving them to school. I used to say, something amazing is going to happen today. And we turned it into a game. It's like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And we'd be looking around all day. And at dinner time, we talk about the amazing thing that happened that day. And maybe it was a bunny that crossed their path, or maybe it was something like a phone call or a special surprise at school. It doesn't even matter how big or how small. But when you start to expect lucky things to happen to you, here's what you do. You turn on the RAS, the reticular activating system in your brain. And that's the part of your brain that sifts through all of the perceptions and everything that you see, and it siphons it. And it actually distills it down, because we are so bombarded with information, distills it down and shows us what to focus on. So when we are looking for something amazing to happen to us, guess what? We find it. And so this simple little trick of always asking, what amazing thing is going to happen to me today? I know something amazing is going to happen. What's it going to be? You start to perpetuate that good and start to look for it, and you start to cultivate it. So that's tip number 3, is lucky people expect to win. They expect to get that parking spot. They expect to meet the right person at the right time, and those things start to happen. So that's tip number 3. And tip number 4 is lucky people turn bad luck into good luck. Now, this isn't about, glossing over failure or, not acknowledging when things go wrong. But what they do is they develop a set of coping mechanisms and a way to look at things as opportunities. So today, I got a speeding ticket. Now, my first response was, oh, crap, I can't believe I got a speeding ticket. I was so ticked off. And then what I did was I had my moment, and then I sat in the car for a second. I just had this awareness, and I said, what opportunity is this? What gift is this? And the gift was, number 1, yeah, I was speeding a little. Number 2, I was absolutely driving distractedly. So maybe this speeding ticket was a gift from the universe to actually slow down. Maybe it prevented me from having an accident or hurting somebody else. Maybe what it was actually an opportunity to do is get really focused and aware in the present moment, because I was absolutely not anchored in the present moment. And so that's what lucky people do. They take obstacles or challenges and failures, and they find a way to flip it around. And so what I'm hoping is that you'll take one of these 4 tips, and over the next 24 hours, really just commit to one of them. Really challenge yourself to commit to one of these tips and cultivate more luck in your life. I hope that you get lucky. Good luck, you guys. I love you. Bye for now.